My name is Malachi, and welcome to the Wildcard Podcast, our first ever episode. Today, we're going to be diving into our origin story, just how we came up with the idea for the Wildcard Project, and just our desires and passions for this ministry that really just has a heart for this young generation of entrepreneurs, working class people of America, and just some of the misfits that might feel isolated or alone because they took a different route than others. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so
do you want me to kind of talk about how it started, where the idea popped up?
Yeah. Let's get into that first.
So me and Aaron were driving to
I think we were driving back
from IWU, visiting our friend, and in the car, Aaron says to me, he's like, I really want to start a group for kids our age that didn't go to college. And at first I was like, yeah, that would be pretty cool. And then I feel like you and me talked about it a little bit more. I was like, this would be a really good idea. And so then I met with Malachi later, and Malachi almost said the same thing. I was like, okay, I've heard this in two places now. I'm like, I think God is saying something, or that we're called to do something. And so then I was like, all right, I put us all in a group text. I'm like, we have to talk about this.
Yeah. So Ezra came to me talking about it, and over the past year, I had already had an idea for this. And I think Aaron and Ezra had both kind of thought about this, and they talked about it. And me and Ezra got coffee, and he told me about this. And I was like, okay, let's make this happen. So he made the group chat. And then I reached out, and we were just like, all right, let's get together and let's plan this. So it was kind of very spontaneous, but it was kind of just the Lord placed the idea in all of our hearts separately. And then we were just like, let's do this. The Lord put it on all three of our hearts. So obviously there's a space for it. First off, if we all three feel like there was a need for it, but also God must really want this to happen because he not only put it on one of our hearts, but all three of ours. And so that was a cool part about it too, was none of us had a conversation about that before. And it just kind of came up, this perfect timing. And it was like, all right, let's do this. So then we met for coffee a couple weeks later. Maybe not even, it was a week later, I think.
Yeah.
It was only a week after we had coffee and talked about it. And so we kind of met for coffee. So Aaron, do you want to talk a little bit kind of about that first meeting, or maybe just
or even
kind of
how
what you
it
were
came
feeling
to your mind?
Yeah,
when we were,
the idea at first.
Going in the car.
Yeah, so the first time that this kind of idea came into my head, it was I was walking with my siblings, we're all camping, and I don't know exactly how the idea came to my head, but it was basically just the thought of finding a problem in the world and figuring out how can I solve this. And I was like, well, I never went to college, and it was kind of a lonely first year or so, trying to build friends. And so I randomly bring it up to Ezra while we're driving back from
IWU.
Yeah, IWU. And then that's kind of where it all started.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Because I think all three of us were kind of in a place especially me and Aaron when we didn't go to college, and just how that felt so extremely isolating at times. So it's cool that we had each other and Ezra, and then Ezra at first did go to college. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I originally went to college at Anderson University for a year, and I was going to study film. And college was really fun. I had good community there. There was a worship night I went to, and it was really fun. But I felt I wasn't getting. I wasn't going to get the most out of my 4 years. So instead what I did is I decided to drop out after my freshman year, and I started my own business. And so after that, I started feeling what they were feeling about how lonely it kind of is, because most people our age go to college. And so, yeah, now I run my own business, and I'm just wanting to help people create a community. We should probably each just share what we kind of do. And
yeah, that's true. We kind of forgot to mention that. I guess names too. I think we kind of already said names, but well, obviously I'm Malachi. But for me, I didn't go to college, decided to take a gap year. I've been interning at my church for worship arts ministry under Pastor John. Shout out City of Lights Church, amazing church. Love the community there. But um, I ended up meeting the love of my life last January and got engaged this past August. So I started working as a business development representative for Just in Time Lawn Care. So I kind of went straight into working and adult life. So for those of you that might be like, I didn't go to college, I didn't go to trade school, I'm not an entrepreneur, but I just went straight into life. Like, I totally understand. And for a lot of people like that, it can definitely be lonely at first. I was lucky God brought so many amazing people in my life, including Ezra and Aaron and my fiance, but I know for a lot of people that's not always their story. And so that's really where that kind of isolation, loneliness kind of came, was like, there's not a lot of people, especially around me, that I know that were just like, I'm not going to go to college and I'm just going to pursue ministry and working and just be obedient to where God calls me. And so that's kind of where I was at. That's kind of where I was dealing with a little bit of that loneliness, especially last fall. That kind of brought this idea on. But yeah, Aaron, do you want to tell them what you do?
Yeah, so for, I think, all of high school, I worked part-time for an electrical company, and I just worked part-time one day a week throughout school year and just made sure I stayed ahead. And then after I graduated high school, I just started working full-time, and I never really had any place where I could make more friends than I already had throughout high school. And I tried staying in touch with as many of them as I could. Not that many, but I mean, obviously I've got these two, which is pretty great. But I never felt like I had that great of a community. And yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah. So why the name Roll Snap? I mean,
bro,
that's my own business.
Bro, talking about his business, trying to shameless plug.
Rewind. Silence so we can make a good cut.
Bro, you can't cut that out.
Why the name The Wildcard Project?
Yeah. This name was like honestly so fun to come up with. There was a lot of brainstorming actually. Like, I kind of figured we'd get together and just like boom, like that. It would come to us just magically. The Lord would send an angel down from heaven and he'd be like, this is the name. But that's not how it happened. But it was actually really fun, like just brainstorming the idea. We kind of were just running ideas off of each other. And then I came up with the idea, like the black sheep, because like us as like followers of Christ are described as sheep, and like the black sheep's kind of different, like the misfit of the flock, but can also be like rare and special at the same time. But we were kind of like, black sheep has a little bit negative
connotation to it.
Yeah. So Ezra went to good old.
I went to my assistant, not ChatGPT. It's my personal assistant, and I had it like brainstorm some more names, and Wildcard popped up in there. Not exactly the Wildcard Project, but like Wildcard. And I'm like, okay, this is something that it shows it's unique, but it's not like a negative connotation to it. So then we're like, okay, the wild card. We're like, I feel like it's missing something, like because it's some sort of we're like some sort of organization. So then we just kept on kind of brainstorming, and then project came to mind, and we were like, oh, the Wildcard Project.
Yeah, and it was really cool. It kind of just like clicked. Like, we had different ideas, and they were like, okay, we know we want the wild card. What's this missing piece? And then we were trying the most random stuff ever, like the Wild Card Coalition or just random words. And then eventually, like, we just said project, and we were like, that's it. And I think it's so cool. I think it's a unique name, and I love like how we kind of came up with it. I love how it was kind of a hybrid too, of like, we didn't just like type into chat and then that gave us our name. Like, it was like our own ideas. And
most of the names from ChatGPT were trash.
They were so bad.
But like, it's like, it kind of helps like spur your ideas. Yeah. And eventually we're like, That's the one.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was like really cool how he just kind of came into that and came up with that idea. And I feel like Aaron too was really good for the brainstorm process because like we'd be like, oh, this sounds really good, but he'd be like, I don't know, that's kind of this, and we're like, yeah, you're kind of right actually. But then like when we said the Wildcard Project, I think all of us were like, yeah, like that sounds like the name. That sounds sick. That sounds something. Bro, I can't even speak. That sounds like something catchy, like just something that we were like, okay, I think we can push this, and like people will hear that name and like remember it, and it'll like stick out. And then like Ezra that night, literally that same night, was like, I gotta come up with logos for this, because like as we're brainstorming this name, because Ezra's just a beast at that kind of stuff, period. But like as we're coming up with the name, it was like Ezra just was like already coming up with logo ideas. So that night,
Yeah, I was like Iron Man in there, and I was like,
for real.
I saw the website design coming together, the social media, and so that night I'm like, I have to put this together. And so like I sent him a couple ideas, and they were all like kind of trash because it's weird to fit like a card shape like this in like a circle. It just makes it feel off. And so then finally I just used a circle as another shape to kind of contain it, and then that's kind of where we got our logo.
Yeah, and eventually we'll probably have some custom decks
playing
of
cards. Yes,
which would be dope.
Did we show you
play
those?
I don't think we showed you those yet. Yeah, we ordered them. No, yeah,
They haven't come yet.
They haven't come yet though.
So,
but we'll show
good.
you.
That'll
We'll show
be
you
really
when they
cool.
come.
Yeah.
But yeah, so eventually y'all will probably see them, but you gotta watch. You gotta
I
watch the
haven't
promotion
even seen
videos.
them yet.
You have to watch the promotion videos because the custom cards will eventually be in one of the videos. So you gotta stay up to date on that on our Instagram posts if you want to see them, because eventually we might sell them to other people if they like it. But yeah,
All right. We need to share about how this works, like how people get involved.
yeah, we do kind of need to share about that. I kind of want to talk about. Should we talk about our motto though? Our
That
motto,
first.
our motto, and mission
Yeah.
statement first. Let's talk about that. Aaron was pretty crucial in this part, honestly, because bro just like comes up with scripture like on a dime. It's crazy. Do you want to maybe share about some of the like scriptures that initially came to mind, or just even like things that
Let me see if I have the
Like you
Google
maybe
Doc
thought
with all
of?
that stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what all of it was because
I know it feels like
I
forever ago.
come up with
Yeah.
a lot. So then,
Yeah, because you came up with so many, but like
Yeah.
some of the key verses, I guess.
So some of the key verses is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, Matthew 4, 19 and 20, and then 1 Corinthians 10, 31.
Yeah.
They're both, or all three of them are like tied with a separate part of the motto.
Yeah.
And we kind of each, I think, came up with a different one of the verses actually.
Yeah. I think like Ezra's really had to do with trust. Do you want to talk about that maybe? First off, our motto, I guess we should say that. Our motto is trust, follow, do, just straight up. But there's kind of deeper statements. So you want to talk about maybe the trusting aspect and just like why that kind of came to mind?
Let me see. So it's trust in all circumstances. And our verse for that is Proverbs 3, 5 through 6, which I wish I had cited here.
Bro, let me grab the Bible.
I
Let me grab the
actually,
Yeah.
kind of.
What?
Actually, wait, do I? I
Doesn't
know the
remember
second
it.
part of it,
What is it? We'll see if you're right.
and I don't have the correct version, but it's, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. It's more of a abbreviation because it's not the exact words.
Bible.
but
Do you want to like actually
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
read
read
it straight
that.
up?
The exact words.
Straight up.
The-
Wait, are you here? Proverbs
It's-
5 through 6.
5 hours later.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. So yeah, I remember when we were looking up for our verses, and I kept on coming across verses about trust. And with this one, it's very important, especially to me as an entrepreneur, in trusting him, and like really just leaning on his understanding, to kind of make the your path straight and like help you see your next step. And so that just to me was like a very crucial part of just anything you do with business or just personal spiritual life.
Yeah. I like too, like how the verse and the motto, like those 3 sections have to do with like personal stories from all of us. And like the trusting has to do specifically with like your kind of story. The following is mine, and the doing everything for the glory of the Lord with Aaron, which I think is really cool. But I'll talk a little bit here. So the second part is follow Jesus unashamedly. And this is, what is it? Matthew 4:19 and 20, which I'll go ahead and read that. It says, and he said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishers.
A few moments later.
Let's try this again. Matthew 4:19 and 20. And he said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Immediately they left their nets and followed him. So I love this like 2 parts where it's like Jesus calling them kind of out of their original plan into a new one, and how they just drop their nets and follow him unashamedly. And that had to do like specifically with my story, because in high school, I was huge into basketball. And like originally I thought when I was younger, like I wanted to play in college and become a basketball coach and all of that. But the Lord just kind of revealed like that wasn't really where he wanted me. That wasn't the giftings that he had just like naturally given me. That was something I had kind of created for myself and took pride in myself. And so I love this because for me, like the summer before my senior year was when God was kind of like, drop your nets and follow me. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to follow you unashamedly. Like I don't know what you have for me, but whatever you have, I know it's good. And so I'll trust you, and I'll drop my nets and I'll follow you. So that was kind of where the follow unashamedly came from. So do you want to talk about kind of the do? I'm trying to think.
1 Corinthians 10:31.
1 week later.
So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. Like whatever you do, doing it for the glory of God. And it might kind of sound like, oh, yeah, obviously. And it might sound like it could be simple, but it is far from simple, because a lot of times, even in the small things, you don't necessarily understand why on earth am I doing what I am doing. Yeah. I don't really want to be doing this, but I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Which I feel like is cool, because from what I've heard from you kind of about your story, it's like doing electrical work isn't like necessarily your dream job.
No.
But like it's cool because you're just kind of like, whatever I'm doing it for the glory of the Lord. And like this is the season he has me in now. So I think that's what's so beautiful about it, is like you're in this position where you're doing something and you're doing it for the glory of the Lord for this season, but you know, like God's called you to more. For me, it was like stepping out in faith and following him unashamedly. And for Ezra, it was that step out and doing it for the glory of the Lord, but really like dealing with trusting the Lord that like he'll provide business, you know, like that's reality. So I thought that was really cool. Do you want to maybe break down our mission statement and just talk about that for a minute?
Do you have it memorized now?
Oh gosh, I think so. Wait, our mission statement is: we exist to encourage young individuals to pursue Christ-like careers, Christian community, and be the catalyst for change in their area of influence.
Hey,
that was perfect. That was perfect.
So that's the mission statement. Like that's really just the heart, you know, that's the heart of this ministry, like to empower young individuals. Like there's so many opportunities for you to like go be with other people, but how many times are you actually being empowered to do what God's called you to do? Like that's the heart and our desire, specifically why we chose that word empower, because we're not just here to create Christ-like careers or Christian community, but we're here to empower people for that. Like empower people not just to be a part of our Christian community, but maybe even eventually start their own. Not just like empower, you know, people to just like pursue Christ-like careers and what they think everyone else is telling them to do, but empower them to pursue Christ-like careers and what God's truly calling them to. Like regardless of what other people are doing. Because, college and all, it's not a bad thing. Like, it's a great option for a lot of people, not at all. But I think some people get so scared to, like, step out in faith to where God's calling them because it doesn't look like everyone else around them. And so that's why we want to empower those people, because, like, it can be exhausting. It can be isolating. And so we want to pour into those young individuals. We want to empower them to pursue those things. And especially, like, with the catalyst for change, like, we're a part of a generation that needs a lot of change. And it looks like we're turning towards that, but it takes a village. And to be honest, like, the wild cards of this world are usually the people that have the most influence. And so that's why in any area of influence, whether big or small, we want them to be a catalyst for change. But the hope is that, these people become the next generation of entrepreneurs, become the next generation of pastors and leaders, become the next generation of tradesmen and trade workers, become the next generation of people that are just pursuing what God has called them to, regardless of what everyone else around them is doing. And so, like, that's truly our desires, to, like, empower those people and hope that those people that are in those big areas of influence become a catalyst for change, for good, for the good of the kingdom of God. And so we're here to be a catalyst for change by creating this community and this project. But we don't want it to just stop with us. Like, we want to empower other people to do those things as well. Because eventually we won't be young anymore. So
That's true. So how do you get empowered by us? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So how do you get connected with this?
Yeah.
Write this down. January 10th.
10th, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
January 10th. Write it down on your calendar.
January 10th, bold letters, exclamation marks, red print, whatever you need to do to make sure you remember it. Set an alarm for January 9th, reminding yourself there's something happening on January 10th. Or 2 alarms, or 3.
At 10:30?
At 11.
11.
Yes.
At 11.
Location is TBD.
Yep.
We're still trying to figure that out, but
If
we will have somewhere to meet.
If we have to, we'll meet in a Chick-fil-A. So.
We'll find somewhere. We're good. But we'll post all that on the website, and you can actually register right on the website to go. Or is that live or no?
Once this will be posted,
Yeah, hopefully once this is posted, you can register online. If not, sorry, I had to burp. Hopefully that wasn't caught on mic. If not, though, just keep up to date and show up.
Yep.
And if you're someone we know, amazing.
Subscribe.
Exactly.
Follow.
All the things.
Like.
Comment. And also, we will respond to your comments. So even if you have questions or things like that, we would love to hear your guys' opinions on things, and just get some support. So even if you're not a young Christian man who fits the group that we're trying to reach out to, like, one of the biggest ways you can help us is just by listening, sharing, following, liking, commenting, supporting social media and the podcast and those things. And eventually, hopefully in the future, have the ability for other people to donate, for us to be able to do even more. But so if you're not one of those people that's going to be coming to those meetings, but you still kind of want to feel connected, feel free to listen, comment, subscribe, all that too, because that helps support us. And
I mean, and like what we're going to be sharing on there isn't just going to be targeted towards our audience. And I don't know if we exactly like said our audience. Our audience is men ages 18 to 24 who are not in college. Yep. And so no matter what you're doing, or like if you've dropped out, or even like over the summer, if you're thinking about dropping out, just come. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I think too, that's also partially why we're doing the podcast. 'Cause like we understand we're in Indiana and we don't have the capacity to reach all over the U.S. or the world, but people can watch this and still glean stuff from it. But also what we're going to be talking on here and the content we're going to be posting, like some of it, might be geared toward that specific audience, but a lot of it's going to be for everyone. Like we're going to be talking about topics that include everyone. Like we're going to be talking about coming out of loneliness into community, good Christian community, forgiveness, patience, prayer, all sorts of things over this next month or so. And so this isn't something that's just for that people. You're right. Like that's what the community aspect is for and the meeting in person. But the content and all of that stuff is for everyone, really. Because we also understand like God can speak through anyone he wants to and to anyone he wants to. So,
and talking about him speaking through anyone, if you like, even if you're like older, like you're really old and you're above 25, we'd love to have like other people. Like if you want to come on the podcast or something, you own your own business, you work in trade, you work in sales, you work in something like that. Like feel free to reach out to us because even though we're trying to mentor people, we also still need mentors, and it's also good just to get people in different walks of life. So like literally don't have don't be scared of messaging us or talking to us about it.
For sure. Message us, DM us, whatever your heart desires. Cause there's definitely space too. That we want people older and wiser, especially to come on the podcast, but even in person meetings sometimes just to come to speak in to everyone. Cause we also want to show, cause part of empowering that younger generation is showing them it works. Like we want to bring those older, wiser people in that can give a testimony like, no, God can actually do this. Like this works. Like you're not crazy for pursuing this. Like, but someone who's going to be real and honest and just show like, yeah, this works and it can be hard. But people that are going to pour in and give wisdom and, all of that. So yeah, but that's really how you can kind of get connected and all of that. Our origin story and all of the above. But yeah, we're super excited. Really just to have the opportunity to reach these people. And so yeah, if you can't register on the website by the time this is out, which hopefully you can. But Ezra's got a lot he's working on right now, Loki. So
End of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And we got Christmas and all this stuff coming up. So
That'd be good. That'd be good.
And we're meeting January 10th. But if you know us and you have our number already, text us or whatever. If not, DM us on social media. Just let us know you're interested too, so we can at least kind of get an idea of how many people we're going to have. With that wraps up our first ever podcast episode. So please subscribe, follow us on Instagram at the Wildcard Project, and find out how you can get connected. Look up our website at thewildcardproject.org, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys on January 10th. All right, peace, y'all.